we're going to create a cylinder, and the cylinder is based on a circle and a rectangle. So keep that in mind as you open up a new document, create a new document, and we'll title it Cylinder. And the first thing that we want to do is to create the ellipses, the top and the bottom of the cylinder. So we'll choose the ellipse tool from the shape tools, click and drag an ellipse. In this case, we know that it's round, but we don't want it to look like a perfect circle because we're going to be viewing this cylinder from the side. You can see that that circle gets foreshortened. It gets squashed and stretched out. So we'll make the fill white, we'll make the stroke black, and we can change that to 1 pixel for the border size. So what we're going to do first is to create a duplicate layer, and you can do that by going to Layer, Duplicate Layer, and we'll call this one the bottom ellipse. And we'll just drag that one down to about where we want the bottom of the ellipse to be, near the lower half of the paper or of this surface. So now we have the top cylinder, or sorry, the top ellipse and the bottom ellipse. We need to connect those with a rectangle. So we'll choose the rectangle tool, and you can just hover over one of the handlebars if they pop up and drag until those cylinders would be joined by that rectangle. So now what we have is the rectangle and a top cylinder and a bottom cylinder. If we look at the ellipse from the example, we need to create a joined shape. So we're going to join the rectangle and that bottom cylinder. So figure out which one of the cylinders is the bottom cylinder, or the bottom ellipse, and you're going to select the rectangle and Control click in the layer to select the bottom ellipse as well, right click and merge the shapes. So now if we click the move tool, you can see that the ellipse 1 above is free. It's its own free layer, and then the rectangle and the bottom ellipse have been joined to create that cylindrical shape. So what we need to do now is to start shading. We're going to start shading the main body of the cylinder. So we take a look at the reference image and go back, and in order to start painting, we're going to do what we've been doing on the other ones. So with that layer selected, I'm going to create another layer that I'm going to paint on. But right away, I'm going to create the clipping mask. So now that layer is going to be clipped to the rectangle. So when I choose the brush and I start to paint, it doesn't really matter if I paint outside that line, it's clipped. So you can see now that every stroke of my brush is going to leave a mark that's within that shape. And if I hide that top ellipse, you can see that it's actually going all the way up to that shape. But because that top ellipse is there on that other layer, it's covering it up. So I'll just do this until I'm pretty sure that this core shadow is dark enough, and dark enough is sort of subjective, so it's whatever looks really good to you. You can use this reference. The right side on this is a little bit more shaded than the left side, so we're going to probably add a little bit more shadow to it, have it fade a bit, and then this is going to be that core of the shadow going down the right side. And then I'll put just a little bit more of a shadow on the left side, and basically now I've got that cylinder shaded so it looks like the light is wrapping around and the shadow is in the correct place. So you do that, and then we're going to move to the top, and that's going to be a lighter value as well. Not pure white, but it's going to be a lighter value. So I'll select the ellipse, which is the top ellipse. I'll create a new layer. I'm going to create a clipping mask there so that it holds it, and now I can just put a little bit of a value up on that. So now it looks pretty realistic. And from this point I would add a shadow that's cast, so I'll click on the background and just start dragging my paintbrush back and forth over that to create the shadow falling away from it to the right.